Alright, so it is still Liliana week, which means that I have to build an awesome black-based deck. And we all know one of my favorite black cards is Waste Not, and Liliana has a discard option, so that's where I started. Because, yeah, I really like Waste Not, and having a deck based around it seems like it would be a bunch of fun to play! So that's what I did. So, land base starts off with 22 stomps, straight, simple. I don't need anything more complex. Swamps are easy. So 22 swamps. For creatures, I have a 1-drop, 4 copies of Typhoid Rats, 1 mana for a 1/1 Death Toucher. We all know I love those cards, and I'm one day going to build a deck out of all the 1/1 Death Touchers, because I like 1-drop Death Touchers, and they're awesome. So, 4 copies of those, they're great for holding off basically everything, because they're big baddie things they're not going to want to throw away to a measly 1/1 group of infected rats, because that's just a waste. So, 4 copies of that. I also include 4 copies of Black Cat. It's a 2-mana cat zombie creature. It's only a 1/1, but I put it in here because when it dies, you get to make target opponent discard a card. And yeah, since this whole deck is based on discarding and stuff, and it's one of the only few things that I could find in this M15 set that was discardy-ish, and it was kind of on the lower end of the mana curve, so that was good for it. So 4 copies of that. I also include 4 copies of, I'm not going to pronounce this right, so bear with me, Xathrid Slyblade. 3 mana, 2 colorless, 1 black for a 2/1 creature that has hexproof. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm okay with giving my stuff hexproof, especially that dude. Because what you can do is if you pay a 4 mana, 3 colorless, and a black, until end of turn, it gets, first strike and, death touch. Yeah. So unless someone has that stupid Nightfire Angel, okay, I love the Nightfire Angel, but playing against it in this case would be awful, because, yeah, as soon as you go to block with this guy and tap the 4 mana to give it first strike and death touch, it loses its hexproof, which means it can then be killed by Nightfire Angel's 5 mana tap thing. So that's kind of a bummer about it. But, you know, a 2/1 hexproof for 3 mana, there's not a lot of black creatures that I could find in this M15 set that I wanted to put in. So yeah, I threw 4 of those in because I thought it would be fun to play with. And I like making decks that are fun to play with. Not necessarily the greatest, but they should be fun. So 4 copies of that. I also include 2 copies of Paragon of Open Graves. 4 mana, 3 colorless, a black, 2/2 creature, gives all your other black creatures +1/+1, which, I'm all running all black, so all my creatures are black mana creatures. So yeah, they're all getting +1/+1. And you can also pay 3 mana and tap it to give another black creature death touch until end of turn. So yeah, even though you could pay 3 mana with this guy, tap it, give your Xathrid Slyblade death touch, but it wouldn't have first strike, so it would still die. But it wouldn't lose hexproof. So you got that going for you. Alright, so that combination doesn't work as well as I was hoping, but you can give your other stuff death touch too. Like the black cat gives that death touch, take something down with it while you're at it. You know, no big deal. Plus get them to discard a card. Yeah, I like that plan. Alright, other 4-drop, I have 2 copies of Gravedigger, because why not? 4 mana, you get a 2/2, and you get to, return a creature card from your graveyard pile. Yeah, put it in your hand so you can play it. So, you know, that black cat that, you know, discard. Maybe your Typhoid Rats that have death touch, or, I don't know, the big baddie fatty I have sitting around. If it's dead, you can put it back in your hand and play it again. Yay. That's always awesome and fun. Pulling things back they've already killed once is even better, because then they have to kill it a second time. It's great. Alright, the final creature I have is 3 copies of Indulgent Tormentor, the black promo from pre-release a little while ago. I like this card a lot because it makes your opponent make not fun decisions. And like Master of Predicaments in the Jace deck, I like making your opponent make awful decisions. Alright, 5 mana, 3 colorless, 2 black, which is not going to be a problem because we're running all swamps in this deck. For a 5/3 flying giant demon. If I could have a deck of just giant flying demons, it would be awesome. It'd be really high on the mana base curve. But it would be awesome because they'd all fly and they'd all be demons. Alright, so at the beginning of your upkeep, you get to draw a card unless your opponent takes 3 damage or sacrifices a creature. Yay! We like that. We like making the opponent make bad decisions and having to either let you get extra resources or sacrifice or, you know, take a lightning bolt to the face without paying any mana. It's awesome. So 3 copies of that. This deck's very light on creatures for me because, like I said, the whole point, I based it around Waste Not. In order for Waste Not to work, you need a lot of discard stuff. I think if I redid this deck, I'd go for a black-blue and throw in things like Reckless Scholar, maybe some Phoenixes, just because, yeah, that would be fun. Ashiok's would also be fun, just things to help get your opponent's resources down to, 0, because you can lose that way. You can lose by decking. It may take a long time, but it'll help. Oh, and that one Jace that mills for a lot, like 10 or 20 or something. Talked about it on Jace Week. So yes, so I have some ideas to improve this, but, you know, I'm just working with M15 here, so you gotta work with me. Alright, so for our spells, we have 4 full copies of Waste Not. Like I said, if it's not in the legendary enchantment, I'm wanting to put as many of these out on the field as possible because either I'm drawing cards, I'm getting extra zombies, or I'm getting mana. All of those I'm happy with because I don't mind being able to play extra cards this turn with more mana. I don't mind drawing extra resources. And you know what? I really don't mind putting 2/2 zombies on the field. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Oh, and to top it all off, let me just have my opponent discard stuff because then they won't be able to do anything about it. That is the beauty of this deck. You get stuff, your opponent loses stuff, and oh, it's beautiful. 2 mana, enchantment, yeah, so if your opponent discards, so whenever your opponent discards a card, if it's a creature, you get a 2/2 zombie on the battlefield. If they discard a land card, you get 2 black mana, which since everything in this deck is running black, you're not gonna not be able to use it, so you will be able to use it for whatever you need. And if it's anything else, you get to draw a card. Yeah. The dream is to have like 2 of those out. So you're getting like 2 zombies, or 4 mana, or drawing 2 cards every time they discard their 1 card. Yeah, that is definitely not wasting anything. It's lovely. 2 copies of those. Or no, 4. 4 whole copies because I like that. I also include 4 copies of Sign in Blood because I like paying 2 life, paying 2 mana, and drawing a lot of cards. And if you have Waste Not out already and your opponent's discarding stuff, this is basically free to play. Well, minus the 2 life, but that's no big deal. Life is a resource here. Life is a resource in this deck. So 4 copies of Sign in Blood, plus it was the card a week, and you know what? It has to be in this deck because it's awesome. Alright, I also include 4 copies of Stab Wound. I felt this was a little creature removal light, and it didn't have very many big baddies, so it needed a little help that way. So 3 Stab Wound, I have 4 copies of that. 3 mana, 2 colorless, and a black. It's an enchantment creature. That creature gets -2/-2, and that creature's controller has to pay 2 life at their upkeep. So that's really sweet. You're draining your opponent. 1, their big baddie isn't as big or fat anymore, and they're losing 2 life each turn. Yay! That's always a good thing. So 4 copies of that. And my last sorcery card is 4 copies of Mind Rot, because I needed something to use Waste Not with better. So 3 mana, 2 colorless, and a black, and target player discards 2 cards. So 2. It could be 2 zombies, or 4 mana, or 2 draw cards, or any combination thereof of those. So yeah, I'm very much okay with playing these. Yeah, turn 2 Waste Not, turn 3 this and hopefully then use the mana if you get mana or you have zombie creatures or extra resources. Yeah, it's just the combos with this and oh, it's so good. If you can get it right, it is so good. Alright, that leaves me 3 spots left. And who else should I put in but Liliana Vess? So I have 3 copies of her, and because, oh, what is her +1? Yeah, that's right, it's discard a card. And what does that work well with? Oh, waste not. Yes! So, 5 mana, 3 colorless, 2 black, +1, discard a card, and she starts off at 5 loyalty. So you get to discard, target player discards a card. The -2 is you get to search your library for a card, put it on the top of your deck, and then shuffle the rest, but you get to draw that card next turn. So, yeah, you know, if you need something, you can put it there. If you need your big fatty win condition, you can put it on top. No big deal. That's -2 ability is pretty sweet in this deck, because you can find exactly what you need at that time and play it out. Oh, and then your minus ability, Liliana. One of these days, I'm going to ultimate minus you, and I'm going to be so happy. It's going to be awesome. -8, put all creature cards in all graveyards, not just yours, all graveyards, onto the battlefield under your control. Yeah, that's also a win condition in this deck, because hopefully by that point, your opponent has some things that they've discarded that, you know, are big and fat, or you've gotten rid of some things that are discarded that aren't, oh, big and fat, like that giant big thing that you use your death-touching rats to kill with. So, yeah, that would be just so much fun to play. I know I talked about this on Monday, but seriously, I really want to ultimate Liliana at some point, and it would be awesome. So that is all 60 cards, based around this awesome Planeswalker here, and Waste Not, because Waste Not is awesome. So yes, let me know, yeah, you know, I really like this deck a lot. I think I'm going to play with it more. I think it needs a few more win conditions and some tweaks, and it probably should be black-blue, but I'm just working off of M15 here, and I didn't want to show any other loyalty but to you this week, so that's why it's all mono black, because you're the best this week. So let me know what you think of this deck in the comments below, like this video, and subscribe for more.